In the heart of New York City, a place known for its vibrant history and cultural significance, an event was taking place that roped in both headlines and historical comparisons. Madison Square Garden, a venue that has seen countless memorable events, found itself once again at the center of attention. As Donald Trump's rally drew people from all over the city, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation and tension. Supporters waved flags and chanted, their voices echoing through the iconic space. Yet, beneath the surface of this political gathering lay comparisons to a time when history watched another rally at the Garden, back in 1939, when supporters of Hitler filled the seats with fervor. Ruth Ben-Ghiat, a renowned historian, noted the eerie similarities between the events, pointing out how words and ideals can transcend decades, finding resonance even in the most unsettling of contexts. Standing beside her, journalist Anne Applebaum nodded, recognizing the weight of history and its rather uncomfortable tendency to repeat itself. In the days leading up to the rally, Trump's former chief of staff had publicly labeled him a fascist, a term that reverberated with lasting echoes. The media and public speculated over this dramatic statement, wondering if it was merely rhetorical flourish or a heartfelt denunciation. The term itself carried a historical charge, and its usage seemed to hang heavily over the event. The rally unfolded with passion and persistence, a gathering of those who felt aligned with Trump's message. But outside the Garden, voices of dissent were equally loud, individuals who believed in calling out what they perceived as dangerous rhetoric. Protesters gathered, holding signs and chanting slogans, determined to be heard. Jonathan Capehart, an astute observer of politics, facilitated a discussion between Ben-Ghiat and Applebaum. His questions probed the essence of the rally's impact and the implications of drawing such historical parallels. As they exchanged insights, both grave and reflective, it was clear that the present echoes of the past had stirred something profound within the American consciousness. The corridors of Madison Square Garden were alive with energy, a bustling mix of anticipation and tension. The echoes of historic rallies seemed to whisper through the walls, reminding all who gathered there of the weight of past events. On this particular evening, Donald Trump was the protagonist, his bombastic style resonating with a subset of the crowd who leaned heavily on his words for ideological support. Inside, supporters waved banners emblazoned with slogans and symbols that flaunted loyalty and power. Trump's rhetoric was fiery, filled with promises and scathing critiques of those who opposed him. He seemed impervious to the mounting criticism from former allies and enemies alike, shrugging off the label of fascist recently branded on him by his former chief of staff. Watching from the sidelines, unseen yet keenly aware, were historians like Ruth Ben-Ghiat and Anne Applebaum. To them, the scene was hauntingly familiar, evoking imagery of a rally held in the very same venue decades earlier. In 1939, supporters of another far-right leader had packed Madison Square Garden, a notorious congregation that now served as a harrowing footnote in history. Ruth, with a notebook in hand, made observations that she would later share with her audience on platforms that craved her insights. She noted the fervor of the crowd, the careful orchestration of emotion, the manipulation of fear. And beside her, reflected on the dynamic of leadership and the perilous allure of strongman politics. Both women had dedicated their careers to studying autocrats and the societies that enable them, and both felt an unsettling déjà vu. As the crowd cheered and the night wore on, Jonathan Capehart prepared for his upcoming interview with the historians, readying his questions that aimed to dissect the parallels between then and now. His inquiry would delve into the nature of Trump's rhetoric, its impact on the populace, and the eerie similarities seen on this night. When the rally concluded, an uneasy silence settled over the Garden. The participants dispersed, leaving behind a venue still vibrating with the echoes of impassioned voices. As the city outside continued to move forward, those who paused to reflect on history hoped fervently that awareness and discussion could steer the course away from repeating the past's darkest chapters.